Hello and welcome to the Triple B podcast. We are the Buds Busting Balls. Usually I introduce the guys, we make fun of each other. They've had a rough week. I'm not going to make fun of them right now. We're just going to call it straight and even. I am Matt Worsham, known as Celiac_Matt on Twitch. With us, we have Mike Bowerman, known as Bauer Tendo on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, all those things. And also with us is Scott Stevens. I lied. I'm going to make fun of them. They're both douchebags. You dicks. There you go. Got them. Today, we are talking about just the video games we're playing and some other topics, mainly related to video games. What else is going on? Should be fun. Mike, play that sweet, sweet theme song for us. As I mentioned earlier, we are just going to chat about some gaming things that we got going on this week. I got a lot of stuff that I'm pretty excited about that I've been playing. And coming off our most recent podcast, we were talking about Palworld. I have actually sat down and played Palworld. I streamed it, I think, last weekend. I played it for just about 3 hours. And I will say, I absolutely love it. I love it. The game is an absolute blast. Like I'm not a big like survival game guy. I'm not even a big Pokemon guy. This game, I saw somebody post a shout out to Nimsomniac. He said that like this game somehow has taken the most addicting elements of so many different games and put it together in this one game. And he is correct. Power World is an absolute blast. And I'm still in tutorial land. It's a very robust, long tutorial, but it really helps you kind of get going how the game works mechanically. The whole like you catch your pals and they help you build stuff. Cause I'm like, man, this building takes forever. This sucks. And my Twitch stream was just like, Matt, give it time. Give it time. You need to catch some more pals. So I catch some more pals and then I go to build something and my pals like come together to build the stuff for me. I'm like, they do things for me automatically. So different pals have different abilities that like do different things. Like this one's good at mining. This one's good at farming. This one's good at setting your house on fire. It's a wonderful game. And I think my favorite thing is that your camp, you build a camp and it gets rated by, for me at least, two sets of things. One, man-eating pals. Like it says, hey, man-eating pals are coming your way. So these not Pokemon are like, they want to eat me. They're full on coming to eat me. And your little fluffy guys that are helping like build your base, like they get up all angry. They go defend you in your base. They just start fighting each other. And then I'm just running around with a baseball bat, just bonking these not Pokemon, like stop invading my base. I'm going to bonk you until you die. And you just literally kill them because they try to invade you. And then you can also get raided by NPCs, like whatever their Team Rocket type thing is. I know nothing else other than they look kind of Team Rockety. They show up to your place and one of them has a gun. So one of my pals just ran up to him and just kind of bopped him in the face. Then I ran up and hit him with the baseball bat and just murdered this guy. And he kind of died all funny like this on this bridge. I'm like, I don't know what this game is, but I'm having an absolute blast. So shout out to DMS for gifting it to me. I am absolutely loving this game. I'm having a hoot with it. Scott, you spent some time on the Power World, haven't you?
I actually got a chance to play a good chunk of it yesterday. And it's really funny. One of the things Matt mentioned, I want to talk about too, but I had a very different reaction to it. So I did not know your base could get raided. And it was the middle of the night and I was just doing a bunch of looting and I was tired. And like, all right, back to the base. And I'm at a bench or something trying to repair my weapon. And I just kind of like turn the camera and I see like another humanoid behind me. And it was just one of those things where at first I'm like, yeah, okay, there's another human. Wait, who the hell is that? And they have like red glowing eyes, which honestly, like, it's really cheesy looking. But when you don't expect there to be a random like person creeping behind you with glowing red eyes, like it kind of like, that was as lame as it sounds. That was probably like the biggest. I probably got more of a jump scare from that than anything in The Last of Us Part 1, to be honest. And I was so caught off guard, and I'm glad I had like 5 pals hanging out, and they were doing all the work for me. I was just like running around flailing, and I got killed, respawned as I'm going to my base. My pals are still trying to fight off these guys, and I'm trying to go and find where I got killed at and pick up my loot so I can actually like fight back against these guys. And I don't think I killed any of them myself. My pals did all the work on there. But one moment in that game that was super cool and I absolutely loved is, I'm probably Matt's come across as well, but in the first starter section, and I'm assuming it's like this later on in the game as well, where I guess there's like mega pals, like super boss pals you come across. You don't have to fight them, but like for the starter area, it's just big tree mammoth thing, and just like showing up, seeing I'm like, oh shit, That's a really big pal. Should I fight it? Level 36. I'm not going to fight you, but just kind of like I'm going around doing stuff, collecting things, and just seeing in the distance this massive pal just chilling out, walking around. It's like, all right, that's a really cool thing to see. Kind of like almost a little bit of a Jurassic Park feeling when you first go and see like the long neck. I don't know what the actual non-Land Before Time name for that dinosaur is, but yeah, it's just like, oh shit, that thing's big. This is cool. But anyway, I'm also really enjoying Palworld as well. Sorry, Mike.
It's a very livable world. We're like,
why'd you say sorry, Mike?
We all know you're on Team Pokemon, as well established in the previous episode.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, have you watched anything? What are you talking about?
I'm trying. It's called trolling, Mike.
Oh, nice
try. Something at the wall to see what sticks in this situation.
You know what's funny? I haven't played. I just don't care about any of this. Like, I don't care about Pokemon anymore. And I'm sure this game's great. It looks fun, but I'm just like, I don't really care to play. I don't like, if it was free, then I might try it. I guess I got it on Game Pass, but
Game Pass. I Game Passed you. Usually we're Game Passing Mike, you just got Game Passed.
Yeah, I did. I heard that on Xbox it's absolutely terrible. The optimization is really, really, really bad.
It's not that bad. It's all right.
Oh, well, again, this is all hearsay. I haven't played any. So I literally, when I said that I had no skin in the game, I really meant it. I really am like, that's cool. Play Palworld. That's great. I literally am hoping that Palworld forces the Pokemon Company to do better for the fans.
I feel like
I'm not a fan. I'm just here,
Stat that said 19 million different people have now played this game.
Oh yeah, it's successful.
People.
It's successful. And I it's funny. So after we recorded our podcast last week, and I said my piece on it where I said, like, look, do I think there's a case here? I think for some of the assets there are, right? I think some of those assets are going to get replaced by something else because they look straight up ripped off. But I thought that Nintendo or Pokemon Company or whoever, probably Pokemon Company because they probably have more money because they're freaking nuts, somebody was going to go after them. But they were waiting. They were waiting for more money and more money and more money, right? So they could take them out. And I think it was you, Matt. You're like, no, I don't think they're going to do that. And then literally, as we ended, I hopped on Twitter, and there was an official statement from the Pokemon Company that said, we are looking into this. And I was like, and I think I texted you that I love the meme, the Michael Jackson eating the popcorn. I'm just like, I'm here for the drama. I really don't care. I don't think Nintendo, Pokemon Company, whoever's going to win, I don't think they're going to really win anything. I'm just here for the drama of it all, baby. I just want to watch it play out and see what happens.
Based off that alone, I went from Nintendo might sue Palworld to Nintendo will absolutely not sue Palworld, because if you're planning on suing somebody, you don't say, oh, we're monitoring the situation. I feel like that was saving face and trying to go and show like, oh, we're doing something. But I think they realized they have no case. If they did, they would just sue. I don't think... Like, honestly, just saying you're monitoring the situation, I think that alone really could hurt your case in court, because they can make the argument of like, well, why didn't you immediately sue us? Well, you're aware of the problem. Why did you let it go on?
Let me rephrase that. It wasn't monitoring. It was we're looking into. Like, basically, we're creating our case right now. And that could have been a tactic to scare them. That could have been all it was. Right? You may be right.
I set up everybody that's just like, is Nintendo going to sue? Are you going to sue? Are you going to sue? Like, guys, fine. We're looking into it. Shut up, please.
Yeah.
Please.
I think it was
maybe they're setting up the Pokemon community.
Yeah.
Guys, shut up.
That's how it came off. That's how it really came off to me.
Well, Palworld is good times. I can definitely appreciate when, like, it's like you look at a game, you're like, that's not for me, and that's for Mike right now. That's fine. That's great. But Scott and I are definitely vibing with it, and a lot of people are. So good on them.
Lots of people are, and good for. I mean, again, like I said, I'm not a Pokemon fan anymore. I used to be. I'm just not. That's just the truth of it. Kind of like I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan anymore. Same thing, right? I just don't care anymore, and I'm glad to see this because, again, we talked about this before. Competition's good. Make Nintendo and Pokemon Company actually work for it now. They can't just shard out a product. I love that, man. That's great for everybody, even if
There
I'm
you
not part
go.
of the fandom.
That's the closing line. Nintendo might shard out a good product, Pokemon related. Mike, what's something gaming related going on this I want to talk about? I know you have to give me something good. What do you
Hey,
got?
hey guys, Matt,
Yeah.
especially Matt. Matt,
Mhm.
you love the PS5. You play on PlayStation, like primarily, right?
Yes.
Hey, guess what's coming to PlayStation?
What's coming to
Dave
PlayStation?
the Diver's coming to PlayStation. You should play Dave the Diver. It's so
I
good.
will. I
It's so
will. I
good.
will.
And
It's on my wish list on Steam
and
at
if
least.
that wasn't enough, I really hope that I get that. I hope that's like a free content for anybody who has Dave the Diver and not just a PlayStation exclusive. Because if it is a PlayStation exclusive, damn it, I might buy it on the PlayStation.
You heard it here, folks.
It's getting a crossover with Godzilla, which, you know what? That fits in this game. It's so good. It's so good. What a wonderful game. Dave the Diver. That was probably my highlight. So kind of let's do a twofer here. There was a PS5 or the PlayStation showcase today. I did not watch. I saw the cliff notes, I guess, afterwards. And for me, it remember our talk about like what's PlayStation got in the works? Maybe they got a lot, maybe they don't. Uh that I don't it was a little bit more worrisome because it was literally, oh, there's a state of play for Final Fantasy net in a couple weeks or next week or something like that. Oh, here's this game Judas, which you already saw, which is basically another BioShock game from the guy that Ken Levine who did BioShock. But Xbox retweeted that. That's going to be multiplat. Saw they re-showed Silent Hill 2, I guess, which, okay, cool. We're already hyped for that game, but I'm also side-eyeing that like I am with Metal Gear Delta, Metal Gear Solid Delta. And then apparently they just shadow dropped a Silent Hill game that's free. So I was going to go try that. I have no idea if it's any good. I know nothing about it. So that was kind of a highlight. But it's out there now. And we saw more Death Stranding 2 stuff, which, again, we already knew about. It just, so kind of looking through this thing again, I'm like, what is PlayStation? They're really banking hard on like just a couple games. When is the next cycle of games going to be coming? Like, when's the next God of War going to be coming? Like, we got to look at these few franchises. So I thought that was kind of scary. So I think the highlight of this whole thing was Dave the Diver. That was my favorite part of the whole thing that I saw. I saw that and I geeked out, and somebody even tagged me in my Discord. They're like, Bauer, are you effing kidding me? And I was like, uh-oh, what happened? And when I went and saw, I was like, yes! Yes! More platforms, more people to play. Dave the Diver, go play it. Great stuff.
Dave the Diver crossover with Godzilla. It sounds stupendous. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I kind of had a coming to Jesus term thing after we had that conversation, kind of about PS5 versus Xbox, and specifically we focused on the controller, which I still think PS5 is better in my opinion. But I was on one of my arguments was like PS5 has the best, exclusive content, and up until that conversation, I still think I'm right. But then you guys talked about Matt, what games are coming out? And then I looked, I'm like, oh no, there's nothing. Oh no. So, as someone that has access to pretty much every game now with PC, Switch, and PS5, it doesn't really phase me all that much anymore. Like, I'd like my PS5; it's my preferred system. I'm borderline fanboy, but I see that I'm like, all right, well, it doesn't impact me because if there's a good game comes out, I can get it. Doesn't matter. But it's also like, man, what is you doing, PlayStation? What is you doing? Like, are you hiding a bunch of things? Is there some things like that are cooking that you're just not ready to announce to the world? Are you banking just on, hey, we have the better controller, so hopefully people choose this for their crossplay needs? I don't know. I still love my PS5, but I'm a little bit concerned.
And I'm with
Just a
Scott
bit.
here, man. I look, Microsoft would be dumb, just straight up stupid, if they didn't drop the price of the Series X by $50. Okay, they could take the hit. They're Microsoft. Drop the price and capitalize like hell this year. Like, buy as many rights as you can for third-party promotional games. Get as much as you can. They got Hellblade, like, promote like crazy. And they can make up ground. They're not going to pass, like Scott said. They can make up ground now. Like, the next year or two. And then Nintendo, I mean, because Nintendo's gonna just do their thing. They're just off on their own island, so they're not really.
They're fine.
Yeah, so like they don't have to. They can be friends with Nintendo and get more street cred and be like, you know what? We're gonna bring Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush to the next Nintendo successor, and everybody will be like, good guy, Xbox, right? Like this is cool. They're sharing. They're having a good time, and Sony's over here sweating bullets like. Our next game doesn't come out till like 7 years later, and it's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's funny how cyclical this all is, because like whatever like consoles like in the lead is kind of like the douchebag of like the industry. Because the 360 and Microsoft, they were the douchebag of the industry. Loved my 360, and they rightfully were the best console of that generation. But they did so much dumb stuff, and then kind of PS4 comes in, which is, I mean, I'd say probably my favorite console of all time is PS4, although PS5, at least up until now, is making a run for it. Now Sony is like the king, and now they're the ones that are like, everyone's mad at us because we got a little hungry. Anywho, fun chat about that. I actually want to hear from Scott right now. Scott, you got to have something gaming for me this week. What do you got for me?
I only have Palworld, and then up to like what, level 170 in Fortnite. But I have big news for the world.
Yes,
I am Fortnite out.
okay.
It has happened. I got my snake skins. I got all my Battle Pass stuff. I got most of the bonus rewards. I think I'm at peace. Oh, I do have one big gaming update.
Yes.
Guess what, guys? I know I swore it off, but guess what I went back to?
No.
Diablo. You back in Diablo.
Oh,
like the girl.
You back in Diablo. Okay.
It's like the girl who mistreats you and you leave and you're like, I'm never going through that again. But then, a couple months later, it's like, hey, what are you up to? Really? That's okay. Let's hang out a bit. But nothing serious, with just a night of fun. And then here you are again a week later in the serious relationship again. So yes,
Okay.
Which is funny because I'm not sure if you've heard anything about the latest Diablo season, but it was probably the most poorly received season yet. But to Blizzard's credit, like I want to say 2 days after the season released, I guess they huddled together. They're like, all right, the fans don't like it. What do we do? They made a plan, and like they literally deployed an update at like 11 p.m. And they basically like removed the core mechanic of the season that everybody hated, but they listened to the feedback, and that is almost like astonishing, like how sensitive they are to fan feedback right now. Which, I mean, I think is a good thing. Would have been better if they didn't go and do that in the first place. But the fact that they listened to what everybody said, got together to play the update at 11 p.m. at night, like. I really I can't think of any other example, any other precedent, and like for games of any developer doing that at all. So
it's hard to put out a patch or an update like. Would you not? It sounds like they had a lot of that cooking already. Like, all right, I don't know any of this. I beat Diablo. I'm like, cool. I beat the game. Now I'm gonna do what I always do, Diablo, just run around and murder a bunch of things. But some reason I'm just like, I'm bored. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it, which is so weird because like I love Diablo 3, and a lot of people say that was like the worst of the Diablo games. Not saying it's bad, but it's like the worst of the Diablo games. Like I love 3.
Oh, I played the hell out of 3. I played it on multiple platforms too.
You guys did on the Switch.
Yeah.
I should go back to that game because I paid full price for it. Got a copy for my wife so we can play crossplay full price. But even as I'm playing with my wife, I'm just like, this feels like a chore of a game to me. Like I am doing this because I feel like I have to do it. Like the gameplay itself. Like I love playing games with my wife, but the actual game itself is like, this feels like a chore, dude.
It's a lot better now. I mean, I'm not going to try to go full on like Matt with Overwatch 2. Like it's way better, but
I mean, do it, man. He does it.
It's way better. I mean, but it is way better.
I do believe it is better. I do. I haven't played it since the initial, like I beat it, and you have only told me like of good quality of life improvements. So
yeah.
I shouldn't be hypocritical. I will go back to it at some point and see that for myself. But I believe you. I assume it is a better game. But at the time, it was definitely a chore.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it's fine for you to like. Okay, so Matt's the Overwatch 2 shill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt's the Overwatch 2 shill. I'm the Dave the Diver shill. Every freaking week, I got to talk about that game. And you could be the Diablo shill. That's fine.
I like how we both have like these multiplayer games, and then you're like your Mr. Indie game over there. I mean, I guess that's a good chill.
Man, it's so good though. It's so good.
All you need to know.
You're the little guy. You're the little guy fighting for Dave the Diver. Go you, Mike.
They should pay me for promotions, man, because I'm doing this all for free, baby.
They should add like a
the
mic.
reason the game has done so well is everybody is just like, this is really good. I will get to it.
No. The reason is because Mike.
Oh, it's all
Mike.
Mike, baby.
You should get a skin in there. You should get like a skin of Dave.
Dude, okay. Okay, you know what? Okay, this is going to be a short. This is a short. I would be honored to have some kind of skin, some kind of character. It's just an NPC, a cook, one of the servers. I don't care. If I was somehow in that game in any capacity, I would geek out so freaking hard. So hard. I might like do like giveaways and stuff for that game. Like legitimately, just to be like, play this game. Also, look at my face in this game. It's awesome.
Would you do a sexy Dave the Diver calendar?
I don't know if that would really do anything for the game. That might actually make people not go towards the
I
game.
mean, I know the tagline. The tagline, going in deep.
No. All right, there's your short, everybody.
Oh,
fantastic. Put Mike and Dave the Diver so he can do a sexy calendar called Going in Deep. Stupendous. All right. So
Matt,
Scott
what do you have to talk about now? Let's move on.
Scott talked about Diablo and Overwatch 2, so now I'm going to talk about Overwatch 2. I just want to ask Mike. Mike, you said you've been playing more Overwatch 2 since we last spoke. Have you played any more since we last spoke?
No comment.
Have you played it? Okay, no comment.
No comment.
Yeah, I think after the stream we should play Overwatch 2, just saying. Overwatch 2, great game. Two games I want to talk about real quick. One is Darktide. I finally started playing that like on my own without like anybody else, and no knock on Chrome whatsoever. I love playing with Chrome, but I'm like, I'm going to play this game, just me, and just try to like get good and understand
grasp it. You grasp it. Yeah.
So I played like 3-4 games just on my own. I'm just like, this is a really good game.
Did you play with randos or did you play with bots?
Randoms.
Yeah.
I played with randos.
So, okay, good. Go ahead. Continue.
And I had a great time because like the game is so simple. It's like, go here and burn things. Here's a slight objective. You have a gun. It's so good. My only knock with the game, and I think I said this before, is like I kind of wish ammo was either exclusive to individuals so you didn't have to fight over it sometimes. But I think that's kind of part of their mechanic. But anywho, I've been enjoying Darktide quite a bit. It was nice playing on my own just to really get a grasp of it. And then the past couple of nights, I played a few games with the Chrome and 6, and I've really enjoyed that. Eventually, Scott's going to play with Mike and I think he's going to love it because it's just a simple, fun game. So I like the Darktide. Let's play with Scott, who tried to get it going today, but got overwhelmed, I guess, with all the potential.
There's so much lore. There's so much. I know nothing about Warhammer. And I like at least try. I wasn't like, all right, skip. Play the game. I was like, all right, if I'm going to play this game, I want to know what's going on. All right, I watched the cinematic. Cool. Character time. Well, no, I had to read all the skills, the summary for all the classes, and I had to go and ponder, like, do I feel more like a zealot or do I feel more like a brute or whatever the big guy is? And then they ask you the questions like, what was your childhood? How did you grow up? What was the defining moment? And then at that point, I was like, all right, I don't think I have time for this right now, but I'm partway there. I'm on the way. It's happening.
He'll get there.
For those listening, if you do get Darktide, you don't really have to pay attention to that. That's more for role playing. It's more for the interactions that your characters automatically do with other players when you play. So like what your character says to another character and their interactions. That's all it does. So you could, if you just wanted to get in and learn the game, just choose, just like there, that planet, this is what I am. Okay, done. And then just the main thing that matters is your class. One of the 4 classes. That's it.
This game does not have a story. That's it. That's all you need to know. It doesn't have a story. You go in and out in like a 20 to 40 minute mission and you leave. You have fun. You murder a bunch of zombie-like things. That's it. That is literally the game. But since it is Warhammer and Warhammer nerds love their lore, they had to put it in there, and I get it. I do. But it's definitely kind of hard to get started. I understand that one. Real quick, I did start on stream Spider-Man Miles Morales because I never played it before.
No. You got to say it like you wrote it.
What did I write? How did I write it?
Go look at your notes.
I don't want to look at. Oh, what did I write? Miles Morales?
No,
I wrote Miles Morals. I was playing Spider-Man.
Scott is now
Miles
playing
Morals.
the We Have Spider-Man at Home version, Miles Morals.
This is Miles Morals. It's the
Christian version.
It's the religious version, where instead of like punching people, he just tells them about.
He prays for them.
And
He
they
beats them
don't
over the head
shoot
with the
him.
Bible.
No, that's only the hardcore Catholic version. You have to pay extra for that
Okay.
one. There you go. I did a Hail Mary, everybody. Anyway, Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's been so long since I played Spider-Man PS4 that I feel so terrible at the combat, but I started getting the swing of it during the stream. It's just a fun game. Again, just swinging around.
The swing of
beating
it.
people
That
up.
was a great pun.
Oh, I didn't even do that on
You
purpose. I didn't even do that on purpose. It just seeped out of
Sure.
me. I am ashamed. It's a fun little game. Enjoying that on stream. So Dark Tide, Miles Morales, enjoying that. One other quick game that was gifted to me is called John Wick Hex, which is on Steam only. It's kind of like XCOM where you choose your actions, and as you do your actions, time moves on, and there are other variables going on. So it is technically a strategy game. And it kind of sounds weird, a strategy John Wick game, but once you clear a room, you can replay the room without like all the pauses. And it looks like just one kind of long John Wick action scene. Like, hey, I did a roll here, and then I killed that guy there, and then I kind of did a takedown here. I threw a gun there. It just looks really cool. It's a neat little game. John Wick Hex, I think both of you would enjoy it. I won't, preach it to the rafters, but I started playing that and it's a neat game. John Wick Hex.
It's gonna be really random, but you mentioned XCOM like game. You know what game I've really been eyeballing and just waiting for the right sale on, and I kind of want to get it for my Xbox. Marvel Midnight Suns.
Ooh.
And I know the game kind of looks garbage. I think it's gotten better since launch, but it's a card-based RPG, I guess you'd say, and it looks really cool. And all I can think of is like, this is almost like a 3D version of like maybe Legendary, the card game Legendary, the deck building game. And everything that I've read on it is that as far as the actual like the characters are concerned, this is like one of the better representations of the actual comic characters of all these characters, these Marvel characters. And I'm like, that looks kind of good. And like seeing like, that Iron Man interacts with say like Doctor Strange and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm really tempted. So I've been keeping my eye out for that one for like the right price because it looks kind of good.
I saw a lot of this game because my wife's favorite streamer, Dan's Gaming, played this game a lot. And it was during a time when I had a lot of watching a lot of it just while it was working or not working. I don't remember. But I saw a lot of it. And I'm like, that gameplay actually looks kind of fun. And living in the Marvel universe, like if you're a Marvel fan, this is a shot just directly into your heart of just Marvel goodness. I thought there was a lot of cringe in there as far as some of the interactions, some of the voice work is like, this is dumb. But I thought about it a few times. My wife's like, Matt, you would hate the game, and she's usually right about what I will and will not like. But on sale, I think, Mike, you would absolutely love it being the Marvel fan that you are. I actually think you're going to love that game. Scott, I think you'd vibe with it too. So it doesn't surprise me that it's on your radar at all.
Yeah, well, because I think it was made by the XCOM people too, like the people who did XCOM 1 and 2. So I was like, okay, well, that's a good pedigree. And then I saw it and I was like, that looks kind of bad, but yeah, we'll see. And then I'm like, that looks at the right price. I think that might be a good game. That might be a good pickup.
I think you'd vibe with it. Definitely on. Like, if that game was even $30, I'd be like, maybe.
Well,
Scott,
see, I've seen it go down to like 15 on some places, and I'm like, I'm gonna jump on it, but it was like, oh, you have to sign up for Humble, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like
a little extra gimmick.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's knocking on the door of like that 10 to 15 range where I'll be like, mine, got it. That's the one I want.
It will happen. It will happen. Scott, do you know anything about this game, like at all?
Actually looked into it a little bit as it was coming out because it just like the character models of it look cool, and it's like, hey, I like this darker look, and it's getting more into like the occulty, mystical side of it. It was just that time though that there was so much coming out that I wanted to get, and it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. But yeah, I mean, I guess I think my price would have to be a little bit lower than Mike's, but I mean, if it's the right price, I'd probably pick it up if I have nothing else better. Maybe every year around October, we always get that buy two, get one free. I don't know. Maybe that'll be 2000.
Yeah, maybe it pops up. Maybe this is the year, baby.
It could be. Friend of the pod, Corey, loved this game. He loves this game. So he's told me about it quite a bit. I'm always like, I don't want to spend that much money on this game. I'm glad you brought that up. I haven't thought about that for a while. It's not officially on my radar, but sometimes I'm like, no. So that's interesting. Mike, because I haven't played it yet. and I only played the game that came before it at your vehement recommendations, nonstop recommendations, and it finally came to PS Plus, so I got it for free. So I finally played it, and by golly gee, you were correct. It was a fantastic game. I loved every second of it. The game that I did play is Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon. There's a sequel to that that I know you have played. I want to hear about the new one. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So I'm still loving it. So let me preface this by saying, like, look, at the core, you need to play the one before, right? Otherwise you're going to be bored as hell with the beginning of this game, because there is a lot of setup. A lot, okay? I was a bit skeptical about this game because the two main guys at Sega that really had their hands in the Yakuza series, like a couple years ago, they were bought out by Tencent, which I feel like that's going to be a crash and burn situation, but whatever. Another topic for another day. And so I was a bit worried because I'm like, oh, two of their like leads like leaving. That doesn't sound right, like it's going to be good, but whatever. Ichiban Kasuga and his group of friends. Ichiban is one of my all-time favorite video game characters of all time. He is almost, this is going to sound so weird, he is almost like the Ted Lasso of video games, where all bad things happen
That's
over...
not weird. I'm interjecting because that is not weird. That is 100% accurate. The
Yes.
optimism this character has, like his backstory is pretty brutal. The optimism he has in like every situation with everybody, it is off the charts. He is a fantastic character. I had to chime in to agree with you so hard. He is a Ted Lasso of gaming, and that is one of the highest compliments that Mike and I can give to a fictional character.
Yes. You know, and you know, like Ted Lasso's mustache, right? That was very iconic. This guy's hair, right, is very iconic. And okay, so anyway, play the first one. It's super cheap now. It goes on sale. I think it's on sale right now for like $9.99 right now. It's on PS Plus. It's all over the place. Okay, play the game. It is so damn good. And these characters, even if you do like some of the things, it's not a perfect game. You love these characters and the way the stories that are told with these characters. And it's good to be back with this group again. It really is. Now, the big difference with this game is that this is big for the Yakuza series, at least as far as I know. You go to Hawaii. Every other Yakuza game, you're always basically there in Ijincho or close by places there in Japan that are like specialty places you go to. In this game, you go to Hawaii. Like, that is part of the story beat. It's a big deal. Big difference. And I was a bit worried that, because, you know, I didn't see any of his buddies or anything this time. I was like, that kind of made the game before. And it's been wonderful. The new characters are great. They're memorable. My one big gripe with it, because of all the setup, it is cutscene city at the beginning. And when I say the beginning, I mean, I think I'm 5 or 6 hours in, and I'm still in cutscene city. Now, I have played. It's not as bad as like Metal Gear Solid 4, but it's different pacing than the other games. So I'm like, okay. And the other thing too is, you guys probably know nothing about this, and I kind of found out about this recently. I didn't know that they replaced the English voice actor for Kazuma Kiryu, who was like the Yakuza guy in the mainline series, not the Like a Dragon series or the Judgment series. They changed the English voice actor to some YouTuber dude. Never heard of this guy before. And I'm not really a fan. I'm not dissing him. I'm not dissing that. It's just a really weird choice. It's like making a 50-year-old man be Peter Parker in high school. It's that kind of weirdness, but like reverse. Like, Kiryu is supposed to be older. He's an older dude. Like, he's, you know, the old generation as opposed to Kasuga being the new generation. And he sounds as young, if not younger, than Ichiban. It's weird. It's weird. It's not bad. It's weird. So those are my two gripes. but it looks great. I don't know how you talk about like these massive budgets and time frames. They make a yacht. Literally, did you know this last year 3 freaking Yakuza games came out in 1 year span? Ishin, The Man Who Erased His Name, which I really want to play. That's about Kiryu. And now Infinite Wealth. 3 games. And everything I've seen on the other 2, that people loved them. And I plan to get to them eventually. How does that happen? PlayStation? Sony?
They got their dedicated folks specifically focusing on churning those games out. The only one I played is Like a Dragon. That's it. I've not played a single other Yakuza game. I too need to play more. But Infinite Wealth is one I will get to eventually. And the game is actually it ranges all over the place. It can be, I assume this follows the same path as the first one, where like there are moments of just pure hilarity. There are moments of just like emotional like heartstrings, like the underdog stories, just all the emotions that you kind of have in movies and shows. Like this kind of covers all the gambit. I will say though, because comedy always resonates with me more than anything else, is the comedy and the timing in this game, the series is so good. It's so good.
It's so wacky too, man. Oh,
some of the like, it's not really a spoiler, but there's one thing where like you walk into a room, just a bunch of grown men wearing diapers.
Yeah, like, I knew you were gonna bring that up.
And that's like their kink, and you're trying to like, sir, I need to have a serious conversation. Like, no, not until I get my bottle of Spankies. And it's like,
and then they cry.
And they cry. And then these strong, burly men, and then they fight you because they're strong, burly men. But the game is bonkers, and it's a great one. So I imagine Infinite Wealth continues a lot of that, and I'm glad you vibe with it. I do want to ask Scott about a game that he said he was very interested in playing. I don't know if you started it yet. Scott, have you started The Last of Us 2?
I have not started yet, just because I've been trying to go and get through The Last of Us Part 1. I think it's called Left Behind. I think it was originally like the DLC that came out for it. And it's one of those things where I want to play through it just, in case it adds anything story-wise to Part 2, but I'm not really enjoying it so far. It's it's a little bit of a chore. So it's one of those things, it's like, all right, do I keep playing this chore, or do I, play some Palworld? And I think we all know what the answer's been so far. But yeah, Scott's life has been kind of tough the last couple of days. I mean, probably the last couple of months. But yeah, hopefully I can go and get to it this weekend, though. I'm hoping I have like a good video game dedication day. First time in a long time. And that will be part of it. Finally getting to Last of Us Part 2.
I am really looking forward to you playing that game, just to see your response, to see if I'm going crazy, really, if I'm going crazy. Because I know the internet was in an uproar when it was releasing for various reasons. I thought all those reasons were stupid. I love the game like 85 to 90% of the way through. And then the last whole segment was so bad to me that I was like, guys, what did you do? Like, what did you do here? So I'm really interested to see how you're going to respond to this.
And the funny thing is, not saying Matt hasn't guessed games I really like, because he has, but as far as like actual moments within a game, I feel like me and Mike are pretty close. I don't know necessarily, like maybe Last of Us Part 1, but the game that was almost creepy, that like how similar our thoughts were and at what points, was Spider-Man 2. Like as I went through it, I'm like, Mike, I just got through this part and this happened. And then like
I gave you those tidbits. I was like, you're going to hit this part. I think you're going to be like this. You're going to hit this part. You're going to be like this. And it was like, I was batting 1,000. It was kind of crazy.
It was like really eerie how close you got. Like you didn't give any spoilers. You just kept it really vague. It's like, all right, at this point, something's going to happen. And I think you're going to lose your shit. And I lose my shit. And it's not even like something necessarily anybody would lose their shit at seeing. It's just like, oh, specifically like really nerdy Spider-Man fans, or I don't know. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to go and keep you well updated on Last of Us Part 2. And we'll see if we are like in sync on that as well.
Yeah, I'm really interested. Yeah, keep me updated, like the play-by-plays, basically, when you play, because if you tell me where you're at and how you feel about it, I can probably, I'll have a good idea by the end to go, you're gonna hate this, or you're gonna love this. You're gonna be on board. So I'm really interested. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about part 2, not because you're playing it, just because I want to see your reaction.
He wants the reaction of Scott.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
I like it.
Yeah, so wait. You asked him about The Last of Us. I was gonna ask it. I thought you were gonna ask him about Marvel Snap. Because we're at 214 subscribers as of right now. And
What?
And Scott started Marvel Snap on stream. Not the stream you think of. So have you played any more of that, Scott?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I didn't even play the first game. I just downloaded it, booted it
gosh.
up.
Ooh.
I played it on stream, and then I haven't played it yet. I will try to get to it. I'm sure there'll be a really boring moment in my life where I'm at a doctor's office or something like that, and I'll try it out. But Matt actually gave a demo of it, I think last week before we recorded a podcast.
Probably.
I went from not being interested in it to maybe being somewhat interested, but now feeling very scared because I did not understand anything that was going on. And I don't know if he was playing on a very advanced level or something, but
and that's what I was afraid of too.
And the thing that blew my mind is Matt was all casual and oh yeah, and he plays this, that doubles attack power. Oh, but then he's gonna follow up with this. So what I have to do is go in this, and I'm just bro.
So
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Let me micify this for you, okay? That will help you get into it, and then you'll get to the level of where I'm at, and then even more so where Matt's at because he plays it more. Just build a deck that you're that's a cool deck. I literally built a deck of just X-Men character, the X-Men universe. Because now I'm invested because I love my X-Men. So guess what? I have an X-Men deck, right? Do that kind of stuff. Like a Spider-Man, whatever it is. Do that just to have fun. Just fill out a deck, go, I like these characters. These are cool. This is neat. And then just play. And I promise you, the meta and all the others, that'll come. It'll just... You play card games. You like card games like Legendary. And more like the DC comic game. It's more like that game.
Yeah.
Just have fun. Start with just, those are cool characters. And just go. That's my recommendation.
All right. It's time for Snap Thoughts with Celiac_Matt. One, I want to talk about how Scott said he would play the game if we hit 200 subscribers and technically still hasn't yet. So I got beat with that one. But two, he sent us a video of him literally over a stream because I made the comment at some point you need to play this on stream or stream it in Discord so we can watch you play it. Instead, he went to a stream, pulled up the phone, and played the game while standing on a stream so he could make
a stream of water. A
stream of water. A literal stream of water. So he was I played it on stream, Matt. So one, I did think that was hilarious. So kudos to you. I hate you. But we got to get you to play the game.
Well, I played it, but I didn't play a full match. Did I say I would play a full match, or would I play it? What is the definition of play?
Technicalities.
We're getting into schematics right now.
Semantics.
Yes.
So,
that word too.
Schematics.
That one.
He's an engineer. He's a Snap engineer.
I will say this for anyone that is intimidated by card game things, this game does a great job of spoon feeding you. Because you don't just instantly start playing against people that have every card. You have what's called a collection level. So you only play against people that are in your collection level. So starting out, you're not going to see Galactus right away. You're going to see just your core starting cards. And that's how you slowly learn what the cards do as you get more and more and more. I've gotten almost every single card in the game, and I've not spent a dime. I've not spent a cent. You can spend money to get there quicker, but you don't have to. I haven't. I like this game, and I would say I'm actually very good at this game because it's very challenging to do. As you play, you have a rank that goes from 0 to 100. And once you hit 100, you get the infinite rank, which is so freaking hard to do. And out of the 5 million people that are playing this game, at any given time, it's less than 200,000 of that actually make it to the infinity rank. I made it to the infinity rank, I think, earlier this week or last week, which I've done twice now. So I'm just I'm a gamer over here. So I'm feeling great and kind of cocky on my snap skills at the moment. But that is to say, there's so much variance and styles of decks that once you get rolling, I do genuinely think Scott's going to love it. I think everyone should love this game, but it does a great job of spoon feeding you to get you ready. And then you can just make some fun decks. Like Omega Red is a card in this game.
Oh, and there's different variants of Omega Red too,
And
like
you get
different
variants.
artworks.
They all do the same thing. Like, it doesn't change the power, just the art style changes. That's the collectible bit. And he's works in the deck that works well with cards that are ongoing, meaning they have an ongoing ability while they're active. So Omega Red's a card. That's one of your favorite characters. Mr. Sinister is a card. That's one of your favorite characters. So like Mike and his X-Men, you will find some cards and characters that you like. But I just want to talk about Marvel Snap. I hit the infinity rank. I feel like a gamer. And I really want to see Scott play the game to completion a couple of times. That's what I want to see. And that was the last of my gaming thoughts for this week. Scott, Mike, I think Mike might have one other thing, but I'll go with Scott first. Any other last minute gaming thoughts before we give it to Mike?
Yeah, just want to talk about a game where I think they've had a run of bad luck. And I'm not sure if you guys have kept up at all with it, but I do want to talk a little bit about Suicide Squad. I'm just going to call it Suicide Squad because I think that whole tagline, Kill the Justice League, is kind of dumb. So if you guys don't know anything about this game, this is like the first Rocksteady game, the studio who brought us the Batman Arkham trilogy. This is like their first game in almost a decade, since like the last thing they worked on was
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight. And so this game has been announced for a while, and I think it was delayed by a year. And one of the big rumored reasons, they claim it was to add more polish to it, but they did like a pretty extended gameplay thing for it last year that was horribly received, because it's like, wait, we bought into like an Arkham style game, but with Suicide Squad characters, and they were making this some type of Destiny light type of nonsense, and the fans revolted, which I feel a little bit bad for Rocksteady for, because, you know, it's like, come on, guys, give the thing a chance. At least let it come out before you shit on it. You know, you're trying to go and expand and do something new. But Rocksteady, I guess, it's still like a big multiplayer game, but I guess they took it back a little bit. Now, the big reason it's in the news today, or yesterday, I should say, is as part of their pre-order. If you got like the Super Uber Deluxe Edition, pre-ordered it, you got like a 48-hour early access or something. Well, anybody who was part of that and they started up the game, there was a bug. And do you guys know what that bug was?
Completed the game.
Actually,
the game was automatically completed story-wise as soon as you boot it up. And I guess there's very significant spoilers from, or very big things happen in that game. And so basically you start up and like, oh, okay, that's a thing. Cool. And they basically like almost immediately took it back down. So this whole big 48-hour, however long it was, you know, perk they gave people for paying a lot of money for it, they ended up having to take it down. They're definitely not the first studio that has offered like early access to a game and had to deal with hiccups, but it's almost unprecedented, like such a major title having them be immediately taken down for such like a massive, like, how does that get through your QA? Like, obviously it did. I'm assuming they have some type of competent QA, but your whole entire story being already completed when you automatically boot up, like, I don't know. So we don't have to talk much about it, but I just thought that was like, that's been the story I've been kind of laughing at this week and making me shake my head.
And it's like, you can't say like, oh, it's just a big game and games are more complicated, right? And all of that stuff. Like, I look at Tears of the Kingdom, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whatever. The biggest bug with that game was, oh, there's a random glitch you can get to get some extra rupees. That was it. That went through a proper QA. That's what QA is supposed to do, right? I don't understand. It's like they're not paying people, or they're just like, it's fine. Like, did anybody play it through once? Just play it through? Boot up the game once? Like, it's just nuts, man. And I actually am kind of with you. So at first I was on the board. I was like with the group of like, this is not the Arkham games, but with Suicide Squad. What the hell is this? This is not what we were wanting. Then I thought about it, right? Because the Arkham games worked well because it's one character. It's Batman. Okay? Like, like there were other instances, like in the second one, where you could play as Catwoman, but it was still just one character, really, right? Suicide Squad is many different characters that are vastly different from each other. I think of Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Guardians of the Galaxy did this extremely well, where you only handle one character, but you use all of the other characters in your combat. So it keeps it focused, right? So I kind of thought, well, maybe they'll do that. Maybe like you stick with Harley Quinn. But then they were like, no, now this person has this skill tree and that skill. And I was like, you guys are making this into something way too complicated. This is too much. You stop. And the concept is cool. I love the concept. It looks like the story might actually be really cool from all the little bits that I've seen. But do I want to slog through the gameplay of it to get to that?
It's tragic because the game also got super delayed after like early demo. I think it was like an early demo that came out, and everyone's like, "This is bad." So like, yeah, you're right. All right, let's work on it some more. Which is like, all right, whatever. What's that phrase? A delayed game's eventually a good game. Guess not anymore. So I want the game to do well. One thing that concerns me is games that are the company made like a really great single player series in most of the Arkham games, right? And now they're adding like multiplayer thing because like not everything needs multiplayer, guys.
Not just
Not
multiplayer,
everything.
it's room for microtransactions. They want to
Ugh.
they don't do it at first maybe, but they want that option for later.
I'm with Matt. I'm rooting for them just purely from how much, out of appreciation from how awesome the Arkham series was and how good it was. Like, they have a lot of goodwill built up with me, and I want to see them succeed. It's just like, guys, please at least boot up your game and make sure it's not already unlocked.
I can already tell you.
Let's do that minimum. Just please do that minimum. Please, I'm begging you guys. I'm rooting for you.
Here's what I think happened from a quality standpoint is like I've done a lot of testing in my job for things, mainly when open happened. I worked for a company that had like 200,000 employees. You had to do some serious testing, but there's always something that like kind of falls through the cracks you just never even thought about that could be an issue. So I'm wondering if when they did all the testing, like, okay, we test all the stuff, we feel the game's pretty good, let's do early access. And they never tested like whatever switch makes it early access. Maybe that was the bug itself. And that they just said, oh, we never even thought to test that. That's what
what's funny?
happened.
You know what I think is what probably happened is everybody who tested it beat the game, and they didn't realize like whenever they do like the final launch version, that like it was already unlocked because they already beat it on their own, and so they had no way of knowing. There was nobody who actually like went into it
as like just
somebody put that code
like
and just
brand new.
It just saved. It's like you overwrote it. Like, oh, you just saved at the end of the game, so all your other bugs are fixed, except for this giant one that completed the game.
It's
maybe I don't know.
Oh, it's so bad.
I do hope it ends up being a good game. I truly do. Mike, tell me real quick about Golden Sun, and then I'm going to make Scott wrap up this conversation here.
Yeah. So just really quick. So like my side game. So yeah, like a Dragon's my main one right now. And then I'd never played Golden Sun. I've heard nothing but good things about it. This was on the Game Boy Advance, came to the Game Boy Advance on NSO and its sequel. So that's cool. So I'm going to play them. And I'm kind of impressed by it, honestly. Like, it doesn't really hold your hand. The storytelling is like, for its time, I'm like, this is kind of advanced for your time. It's really entertaining so far, and kind of not a normal, like, there's some tropes, but it's not completely tropey. It's very entertaining. I am thoroughly impressed, and I recommend, if you don't play it on the Switch, if you don't play it on NSO or whatever, look up little videos of the battle sequences and the animations. It looks kind of cool, especially for the Game Boy Advance, where I'm like, guys did some cool stuff. And the real kicker, the studio that did this game, I found out, is the game that did like Mario Golf. Like the Mario Golf games, Camelot. And I'm like, what? How did they get from that to the Mario sports games that are not that great anymore? So it's actually really fun, and it's really fun playing it with like those save. You could do the save, the like how NSO does, where you could just save wherever you want, just load right up back into it and all that stuff. So it's really good. I actually really recommend it so far.
That was a game that actually had a gimmick where it detected real light sunlight. Is that the game I'm thinking of?
Oh, it did? I didn't know.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but there was a game on the Game Boy Advance, and I thought it was Golden Sun because sun, where like somehow being outside impacted your game in some way. I don't know what it did. Like maybe it charged something like your magic. I have no idea. I don't remember. But that was a gimmick where like there was a detector on the Game Boy Advance. It's like that is sunlight or that is a light. Therefore, something happened. Someone tell
This
me if I'm wrong about that one. But
That'd be kind of cool.
this is a very early example of a game trying to encourage you to go and touch grass.
right.
So then you know it's a good game, right? It's got to be a great game. Yeah, it's really fun. Really good RPG so far. I mean, it's very entertaining. So I could see why people really hold it, in high esteem so far. So good stuff. That's all I got to talk about. That's all I'm doing right now.
Beautiful. Scott, you want to wrap us up?
I will wrap us up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to our little free form, news of the week video game chat, what we're playing, as much as we enjoyed talking about it. Really appreciate you guys. Let us know what you're up to in the chat. And I don't know, however you want to go and interact with us, Discord, whatnot, YouTube chat. Maybe you'll be lucky and Matt will go and start a flame war with you in there like he does elsewhere. Yes. He's fired up. He is fired up. He's been on a roll lately. He is ready. So, yeah.
It's been so delightful.
I've been fighting on the internet.
So with that said, I would say like our favorite segment of the show, but probably Matt's second because his favorite segment is, as stated, picking fights with people online. Mike, do you want to go and kick off our favorite segment?
Oh, our favorite segment. Well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be Scott's favorite segment, but our favorite segment is the brand.
The brand?
It's the brand. Hey, Scott was just talking about commenting. You should also like and subscribe so that you could always yell at us in the comments and Matt can yell back at you. Matt would love that. That would be great. You could, if you like and subscribe and then go yell at Matt and you say, well, I'm liked and subscribed, he will still give you the time of the day because you're liked and subscribed. So you should do that. Share it with all your friends. Share it with your family members because we're wholesome. We're totally wholesome. Right, guys?
Yep.
Speaking of wholesome, I think we have another segment and a really interesting segment coming up next. Matt, what would that be?
I'm not ready for this, guys.
Real quickly, parents out there, please put your children to bed before listening to the following. This is going to get a little saucy.
I'm not ready for this. All right, this next segment is the viewer question.
I heard you had a question. So many questions. Why don't you ask your question and the buds will bust an answer for you?
And I know who said it, but I'll read the name. Anonymous G asked the question to me specifically. He says, "You only have one ball? Explain, please." Okay. Let me tell you about this, okay? I don't have only...
I already can tell you're leading people astray. I'm going to go and give you the for real deal on this one. It actually was a very unfortunate accident that happened with his old dog, old Chompy. Now you may ask yourself, how did Matt end up in such a compromised position for such a tragedy to happen with old Chompy? I don't know for sure. Rumor has it involved peanut butter, but I can neither confirm nor deny that. But yes, that is how it happened to Matt. Okay. Thank you. Moving on.
I don't feel that's correct, but
no, it's not correct. It's not correct. The real reason why Matt has only one ball is because those like medical scientists that are like, hey, we'll pay you money and you come test this drug for us, right? So like Matt was kind of strapped with cash and he's like, I gotta go do this. I want this new game or I gotta go eat, who cares? So he's like, I gotta go get this money. So he showed up to one of these clinics and they gave him this drug and they're like, he's like, what's the side effects? He's like, oh, it's nothing really big deal. We're just testing to make sure you're going to have more luscious hair. And so Matt was like, well, I already have luscious hair, but that would be great to have more luscious hair. So he took this pill and then like a week later, he noticed that like one nut, Lefty, was starting to shrivel up a little bit more than the other. So we went back to the doctor and the doctor's like, oh shoot, okay, well we got to give you this other pill. He gave the other pill and within like the next 24 hours that testicle was like a grape nut. It was gone. And then that was the end of Lefty.
Oh my gosh. I love that I'm the belle of the ball in this one. You know what? Dear listener, I'll let you believe whatever story you want, Scott or Mike's. Here's the actual story, okay? Here's the actual story. As a kid, I went to Hawaii. It was a family trip. I went to Hawaii. While swimming in a lake, a volcano god awoke and is like, I'm gonna torch this entire island with all this lava, and you carrying me the holy coconut. And they brought so many coconuts. They brought all these coconuts to the volcano god, and he was just like, none of these coconuts are deemed worthy. Wait, I sense a coconut, the mighty coconut. And he pointed at me and said, you have it. It is your left testicle. Give it to me, and I will spare the people of Hawaii. And me, being the hero that I am, I said, yes, you can have it. And that's where my left testicle went. All right, there you go. One of those stories is probably true. Hey, Scott, I have a question for you that's not about my testicles. Do you have a rant for us today?
Do I have a rant for you?
Look over there, he just doesn't care. He's going off on a crowd of people, throwing words in the air like he just don't care. He's yelling at all of us sheeple. It's a Scotty Border Body rant. It's a Scotty Border Body rant. It's a Scotty Border Body rant. It's rant time.
Actually, I don't. At least not a rant that you are accustomed to. So, Scott has had a pretty rough week so far. And you know what? I think it's fair to say that I've been feeling pretty down lately. And you know what? I don't want to go and add any more negativity to the world, at least today. So you know what I want to talk about? That's right. This is a wholesome Scott Porty Body rant. I'm talking about you. I don't know who it may be, but I know you're listening out there, and you're probably having a really rough week too. And I just want you to know that I feel you. And you know what? You may ask yourself, all the shit that I've gone through, I don't know if I can keep standing. Well, there's this song I've been listening to on repeat all week long. It's from my boy Frank Turner. It's called Do One. And there is, in the chorus, the line, I'm still standing up and there's nothing you can do. So I want you to go and reframe your state of mind right now. Don't think that like, I've gone through all of this much. I don't know if I can keep standing. And I want you to reframe it to like, after everything that I've gone through and me being able to stand through all of that, what can beat me now? Like I have weathered so many storms and you can't stop me, world, whatever you throw at me. So I want you to hang in there. I want you to stay strong, and I send you love, and I'm sure the buds send you love too. So hang in there, buddy. Don't expect a wholesome, nice, uplifting Scott Porty Pie rant every week, but I know this week you probably needed it. So there you go.
Like I said, we're for the family. We're wholesome here. Scott just proved it. Scott just proved it. We're not talking about the ball stuff. We're talking about the Scott stuff. That's a good message. Good. That's a good way to end. We're going to end it right there. That was good. Hey, listener. Hey, viewer. Wherever you're at, if you're on YouTube, one of the many audio platforms we're putting this out to, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. And like Scott said, we hope that you stand up, you have a good rest of the week, whenever you listen to this, rest of the day, whatever it is. And it's, make it a good day. It's another day, right? So we appreciate you. Until next time. Bye.